Superhero Talk Show. I am, of course, your host, Brad West. Joining me are Greg Burrow from Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy and Anastasia Anderson. Happy Halloween and welcome to our Spawn episode.
We did it, guys.
Spawn is one of the cooler of the horror superheroes. I mean, he is kind of like a corpse with magical powers and an undead necroplasmic cape that has a life of its own. I think eventually they reveal that the cape is sort of symbiotic too. It's very much like Venom-y in a way, and it does cooler things. That's why it has that cool, like, alive, moving, blah, 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 blah,
right,
you know.
all the capes have to be sentient for them to count now.
Right. You know what? I don't think Doctor Strange's cape was ever sentient until the movie. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I don't think that was a thing in the comic books. I think it was just the cloak of levitation. I don't think it had a mind of its own until the movie.
Okay.
But the Spawn cape definitely was alive. In some way. In fact, I think eventually they reveal it's a type of demonic being unto itself that they cultivated.
That's wild.
You know, comic books, after 300 issues, there's probably all kinds of really cool little things.
Right, we gotta make up stuff.
I'll openly admit, like, as much as I loved Spawn when Spawn came out, and I kept up with it for a couple of years, after the first 24 or so issues, I just kind of fell out of it. And I do know that it did fall. I was doing some more research. It did fall off for a little while, but then when it got into the 40s and 50s again, it had a huge resurgence, and it's had a really good, strong following. I mean, it's had to have gotten up to 300 issues and stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, the last one up until recently that I read was the 300 issue that had the collection with all of them. Which, by the way, remind me, I've got a couple of extra issues in the storage. I need to bust one out for you so you can have it. It's got some really cool stories in it.
Neat.
So, today we are going with Spawn in the future. Spawn going forward.
There's a lot of Spawns, guys.
The big news coming out this year, and actually they announced it. He announced it last year, I think, is when he first announced it. He really started promoting it for February, for Black History Month. Was that Spawn was going to be moving into a full-on universe. He's calling it Spawn Universe. Now, as we talked about it before, the Image Comics had all the different creators, and each of them was creator-owned, and Todd McFarlane tried really hard to incorporate them and play off of each other and create an Image universe. But, you know, over the 30 years or whatever, as time's gone by, creators gone their separate ways and stuff like that, and not as much as originally, landed there. And we saw Mark Miller recently just sell his entire catalog to Netflix. And Todd McFarlane, I was actually watching the interview with him. I follow him on Facebook, and I keep up with some of the stuff. When he first announced Spawn Universe, he's like, I saw Mark Miller sell this thing, and I thought to myself, it's like, I've been at this for 30 years. It's like, I need my own universe. One day I want somebody to come and buy my whole universe, And he's like, as much as like I've mentioned before, he didn't want to be known as a one-trick pony, but at the same time, he wanted to do something and do it right. And he felt like he's had his time with Spawn. He's branched off a little bit, but he's never really just gone full-fledged and say, let's have multiple characters and multiple books and multiple things going on. And so for the first time, Spawn Universe, and that just recently came out a couple of months ago, and he introduced several new characters and expanded on some older ones. Yeah. And I read it. It's good. It was really refreshing to see some of the old elements. They like I said, the media, they managed to keep that carried over into the new comic book, and so it is it's very relevant as it ever was when it first started. In '92 when the first comic came out. I like that. I'm kind of curious where some of the stuff is going. I had to catch myself up on where Spawn has been recently in the comic books. I think his last major story arc ended with somebody called Omega Spawn.
Yes, he's got horns.
He's got horns.
Neat.
Yeah, so the Omega Spawn was the last big bad, and so everything moving forward is spinning out of this Omega Spawn. And from what I understand, and this is the basics, so you can kind of get your footing. When all was said and done, and for the past 300 issues, Spawn has been pulled between this war between heaven and hell. Sometimes working more on the side of heaven, and sometimes realizing that the angels aren't any better than the demons, and so, sometimes working strictly on his own terms. But in the end, what ended up happening was he managed to close the gates to heaven and hell.
Okay.
This is the current status quo in the Spawn universe, is that he's closed the gates to heaven and hell. No more demons can come up from hell. No more angels can come down from heaven. And all the ones that are already on earth are trapped here.
Right? Your options are to die.
Yeah.
That's about it.
You've got factions of angels, factions of demons, trying to either A, figure out how to get back home, B, how to move on with the world now here, that they're stuck here and get their own power and their own foothold. And at the same time, you've got Spawn just trying to clean up, and he's like, I don't even want y'all here. He's like, I closed the doors and I'm going to get rid of you. He's trying to get rid of all the other ones and everything and clean up. He's like, leave the earth to the humans, to the human race.
Right.
And that's kind of where it starts off. In the process, he's accidentally opened a doorway in time, so a new Spawn from the Old West has managed to get stuck in the present, the Gunslinger Spawn.
Yes.
They do introduce us to She-Spawn, who has a surprising connection to the original comic books and the movies, actually. I'm not going to spoil that one for you. I mean, to me, it was obvious. When I was reading it, I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be who I think it is. I'm like, yep.
To be fair.
It totally is.
Yeah, to be fair, when I saw the movie and that character pops up, I was like, is this a character in the book?
Yeah.
Like, it's very, like, if you watch movies like this often, it's very obvious that this person is supposed to be a character that we're nodding to.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was kind of interesting. And I couldn't figure out what this Scorched is. I don't know what this is.
The Scorched?
Yeah, the book literally ends it. So pick out Spawn Universe. Where is it? I have one of the.
It's really pretty looking. There's some really pretty looking spawns in there.
I have one of the alternate covers with the Redeemer. If you're not familiar with the Redeemers are basically the anti-spawns. In fact, I think when they first show up in the comic book, they call them anti-spawn. But they're Heaven at one point decides that they're going to make spawns of their own. And they call them anti-spawn, but then eventually they call them Redeemers.
Right, because Redeemer sounds catchier.
And I do know at one point Jason Wynn is one of the Redeemers.
That's rad.
So,
I love it.
That's a pretty interesting aspect. I do like the Redeemers. I always like their outfits. I like the way that they looked.
Right, that sounds great. I love it.
But yeah, I got one of the variant covers with the Redeemer on it. And it's good. It tells this basic story and it kind of sets up for the new. It's almost a good jumping on point. It's not as clear as I would like. I would have liked a little bit more of the setup that I wouldn't have had to guess what had happened up to this point. I think if your whole thing is like, I'm launching this whole new universe, and it should take a nod from the big two and create a jumping on point.
Right.
Which is what I think this was intended to be. It's just not as clear as it could have been. However, it does give you a couple of snippets of how Gunslinger Spawn started. It gives you how She-Spawn is starting. It gives you. I assumed that King Spawn was going to be medieval Spawn. Now I'm not so sure. Reading it, I can't tell.
Right. It's like reading some of them. You're like, wow.
And then it gives you each of these snippets, and then it also has this one page. It goes, oh, and also the Scorched.
You're like,
what
oh,
is that?
Cool.
Yeah. It literally goes. It's got a date. It's like Gunslinger Spawn comes up this month, and then She-Spawn comes up this month, and then King Spawn, and then also the Scorched.
King Spawn came out first.
Oh, I don't remember.
Maybe that's it. I mean, maybe it's a sexy name for the. Kind of like how they changed it from the anti-spawns to the Redeemers. Maybe that's the sexy name for all the spawns now.
I don't know.
Like, there's enough of them that they're like, should we have a band name?
I don't know. Here we go. It's the year of Spawn, King Spawn, and August 1st, Gunslinger Spawn, October 1st, Scorched, on sale in December.
So it hasn't come out yet.
It hasn't come out yet.
We're not supposed to know.
And I don't know what it is. Well, because like I said, everything else had a little preview in here, but it's Scorched.
Comics.
It didn't give me any kind of anything. I'm like, okay.
Oh my god! Okay, so. Spawns, the Scorched, online cut. Yeah, first all new superhero team book. There's a threat, so
it's a team.
It is the band name for the Spawns.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah, members will include Spawn, Redeemer, Gunslinger, Medieval Spawn, and It is their band name.
All right. There you go.
Awesome.
So in December will be The Scorched.
Yeah,
so look out for those.
It will be published on December 15th.
All right. So it's not actually coming out until, because I know one of the big things is that Image Comics has been affected by the paper shortage. So some of their stuff.
Everyone's been affected by
but
the
Image is they don't have as ready of an outlet as like some, because you know.
Well, I mean, even Marvel Comics was affected.
Yeah.
Because remember, I mean, like the last Venom book by Donny Cates.
That's right, because it was a double
They had to hold
size.
off
Yeah, they had to
several
hold off on it
months.
because it was too big. Yeah.
Because it was either
just
print an entire print run for it was either entire print their entire print run or print
I'm curious who the Redeemer is in this.
Venom, the last Venom. So they chose their entire print run.
I like that one better.
And just started printing Venom books until they got the entire print run.
Yeah.
And then they
Then
were
they
able to, like
released
2
it.
months later, 2 months late, it was
Well,
able to
that
go.
was because A, it was like a triple size book and bound differently, and B, they had like 6 different covers. So yeah, they printed each cover one at a time before they get the sales book to do it. But yeah, so some of the new Image stuff I know got delayed because of that too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
And manga's getting delayed. Everything's getting delayed.
everything's getting delayed.
Yes.
But I am kind of interested in that now. I'm curious to see who the Redeemer is, because I know that one of the Redeemers was
Right, that's a
Lynn.
title, not a guy.
Yeah, and well, like it's like Spawn. It's like there's multiple Spawns.
Yeah,
There's multiple
title, not guy.
So I'm curious who Redeemer is. That'd be interesting to read. I'm looking forward to that one. And
Okay.
the last really cool new thing coming out going forward from Tom McFarlane, he's going to be adding to the Spawn universe is he ran into John Leguizamo, who of course played
The Violator.
the Violator / clown in the Spawn movie. Which, oh, by the way, my husband's like, "Why are you telling me this over dinner?" Yes, fun fact: he actually did eat those maggots in that movie. Like,
Why would you tell us this again?
Because I think it's funny.
Why? No.
I know he's dedicated to his craft, but for
He's
the love of
dedicated
God.
to his craft. And he
knows he
had
didn't
back
have to.
problems. He had back problems for years trying to get over, because
The fat
to make
suit.
him look short in that suit, he had to be hunched over, and they had him on his knees, and they had this thing built to make his knees look to make him look shorter. So he hunched over in that suit the whole time to make himself look shorter.
Ow.
So yeah, he had back problems with
My
that.
back hurts just listening to that.
Oh yeah, if you watch him walking around, you see how they constructed the suit to make him look shorter and chubbier. But the thing is that Tom McFarlane ran into him a few years, not even that long ago, and ran into him again at a convention, and they're like, they're like old friends again, like they ended up, and John Leguizamo was like, I've got this idea for a superhero, and Tom McFarlane's like, let's do it. And he's like, I don't know what you're gonna say, but I'm in.
Right, fine. Works.
And so John Leguizamo has been working with writers and artists and creators and all Latinx, Latino creators and artists and co-writers, helping him develop a Latinx superhero named Phenom X. And he's going to be appearing sometime next year in Image Comics. And if you go and look online, you can even see some promotional images. The art even kind of vaguely looks like John Leguizamo, which is kind of interesting. It's an interesting article.
It did.
I think I sent you the article at one point. He was talking about the pressure of trying to create something that's good but still represent culturally, and especially a time when cultural representation is really starting to become more embraced. It's always been important, but now we're starting to really respect that importance.
Yeah, I'm impressed with how consistent he's being about this.
So I'm looking forward to that too. I think that'll be kind of a neat thing to see. So look for that in the future too. And
Yes.
in the meantime, anybody else have anything else they want to say about Spawn?
Nothing I can think of.
No. I just wish everybody a very happy holidays, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Be safe
And
out
safe
there.
Halloween.
Yeah, be safe
Is there going
out
to be
there.
a Halloween Comic Fest this year?
I have not heard.
We have not heard.
I know that there has been some issues because of the paper
printing,
shortage.
yeah.
And also because of shipping things and stuff like that. Also there's a lot going on in the comic industry. Marvel has split away from Diamond now.
Oh my gosh, yes. Don't even get me started on
And
that.
so
Right,
now,
we'll do a follow-up episode on that later.
So a lot of
you
this.
seen some of the Penguin drama? Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's been really kind of wild. Also, I mean, there's a lot of drama going on all over the place. I mean, there's like
Major retailers are getting like, I think if y'all gotten anything torn up, like they're getting their books like trashed. They're getting whole shipments like in major cities are getting like thousands of books coming to them that are unsellable.
Yeah.
Thousands of books that are unsellable because Penguin isn't that they don't have the you know what, this is not
Yeah,
the first time.
no.
So anyway,
We'll
have a
do this
happy
trouble
and
later.
safe Halloween. There may not be a Halloween Comic Fest this year. I mean, we probably would have known by now.
Right, but cozy up. Watch your favorite comic movie.
If there is, look for the Kaiju Labs media page because I will go live there.
Yes.
And I will let you guys know.
On Wednesday,
Yes.
comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a happy Halloween, and we look forward to talking to you next month. I don't know what's coming up for November, but I promise you it's going to be cool.
Right.
Take care. Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Also, the Eternals coming up soon.
Yeah, go watch Eternals.
Oh, Eternals. Okay, Eternals, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Have fun. Bye.